So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for today's discussion on chapter 13, Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 13 is going to be very, very interesting chapter. It's going to be very mind-blowing chapter. At the same time, this chapter also brings a lot of self-realization. Okay, so we'll be looking into many aspects of it. And of course, I'll be sharing a video. And of course, the video, I cannot share it because we're going to upload this video to Zoom. So since we're going to upload this video to Zoom, so it's not available, right? I can't play that video there. So I'll put offline, then I'll play the video, then we come back online again, right? So that's the advantage of attending our live classes. Then other than that, so thank you so much. So today is 8th January 2025, and yesterday we need to miss the class. First of all, because I was not really feeling well, having a severe headache. So today we continue with chapter 13. Okay, I feel guilty about it because I know that every chapter is authentic and tailor-made. Okay, it's not fair for me. It's not fair on your side for me to bring that previous batch and bring it over here and say, listen to that. Okay, I find it very guilty. So let's do it. And of course, we need to finish the class by Sunday because Monday onwards I have to prepare for our Sastra Marathon. Sastra Marathon. So for that reason, I need to finish. So that's therefore now we do our chapter 13. Then in the evening, we do chapter 14. So when we do that, we just nice, right? Another 4 more days. So we just finish on time as per expected on Sunday. All right. So anyway, thank you all for coming. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Robini. So happy to see you.
Hare Krishna, sir. It's been a long time.
Yes,
Feel
yes,
like
yes.
miss you.
I miss everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do our invocation. To invoke auspiciousness, we worship our spiritual master and all the previous preceptor to get their mercy, so that with that through that mercy we get able to grasp. All right, without the mercy of a spiritual master and previous preceptor, everything that we do, it is not complete. All right. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidamena Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Kadamadaya Nagara Grama Tarini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasachari Starini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namini Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitai Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vignana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhakti Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Tarine Rupanuga Viruda Pasidanta Dvanta Harini Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumistam Nidasa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarobhama Sri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakal Patrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paditanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnave Bhayo Namo Namaha Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namam Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namstuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayesu Abhidresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki Hare Krishna. So today we gather here to continue our discussion on one of the most beautiful chapter. Of course, every chapter is beautiful. We have already seen the first 6 chapter. We have already concluded the middle 6 chapter, and the chapter that we Krishna revealed the topmost yoga system, the yoga system that is recommended, and the yoga system that guarantees you that you can go back home, back to Godhead in this very birth itself, right? That is Bhakti Yoga. Okay, chapter 12. So I hope that all of you can read and study chapter 12 on a daily basis. I think it's going to be around 20 verses. So on a daily basis, make it a habit and try to delve deep into that subject. Okay, because Krishna says, revealing the topmost secret. Okay, the secret of how you can attain him through the devotional service. First, there was a Sankhya Yoga, the scientific studies about the soul and the body and the relationship. Then after that, we studied about Karma Yoga, the divine. Then after that, we also studied about the soul, the body, and the law, and God. Then after that, after knowing this in brief, then we went into Karma Yoga, how we can engage ourselves without expecting any result, and whatever result we get, we offer to Krishna. That's the first step in Bhakti. Then after that, Krishna also explained about the meditation, Dhyana Yoga. And after going through the meditation process, and even Arjuna himself have said, it is not possible. Okay, it's not possible, especially people in Kali Yuga. And Krishna says, yes, I agree to you. Even Krishna also agrees. The mystic yoga system, the meditation is not possible. But after that, Krishna says, but with proper training and this thing is possible. Then after that, Krishna says, after many, many births of practicing this yoga, then only a person can achieve perfection. That means when we practice yoga, when we practice this kind of meditational and mystic yoga system, it's not necessary that we can achieve perfection in this very birth itself. We may need to take few births. Okay, and also they say after a prolonged process, if the person fails, he'll come back, he'll born into a family of no, after a person failed in the yoga system, he'll come back and born in he'll go to heaven. And then after that, after enjoying the heavenly planet, then he come and born into a rich and aristocrat family. Then after that, he says, after a prolonged, that means after prolonged system, that means we practice all our lives and suddenly we fail, it's still no problem. We will born into a family of a devotee and achieve perfection. And Krishna says that is very rare to achieve. All right. Then after that, we spoke about confidential knowledge, and Krishna started to reveal about himself, the way that he can achieve him. All right. From there, 9, 10. In chapter 10, of course, we spoke about Chatur Sloki, the 4 important sloka, the summary. All right. The entire Bhagavad Gita. First is Aham Prabhasva Prabhavo. That means I am pervading everywhere. And verse number second is my pure devotees will always take so much of happiness talking about me. Then number 3, Krishna says that I will give them, when all the devotees so absorbed, I'll give them the understanding how they can come to me. And at last, number 4, Krishna says, Divya Gyan, right? No, Divi something, all right? I forgot the thing. He says, I will come and enlighten you by lighting up in your heart. From your heart, he will light up the torch of knowledge that removes the darkness born of ignorance, right? That is 10. Then 11, we spoke about that universal form, the huge form. And at first, Arjuna was so happy to see that. Then after that, Arjuna became so agitated and he says, I don't want to see this further. Please come back to your original form. Okay. Then after that, in that ecstatic, the fear and ecstatic situation, he asked, who are you? Why you are here? What is your mission? And that's when chapter 12, Krishna says, well, my mission is to re-establish the Dharma. And how to do it? And through the Bhakti Yoga. So after explaining all the karma, jnana, then Sankhya, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga. After going through all this, now he says the topmost yoga system is Bhakti Yoga. And that is chapter 12. All right. So with that meditation, now we start the chapter 13, whereby Krishna is going to reveal further about his opulence and also the thing, right? So, so Okay, so ISKCON Malaysia, in collaboration ISKCON Ipoh Bhakti Yoga Center, proudly presents Gita Gyan, Lessons of Bhagavad Gita. So here we just to recap as what we have learned earlier itself. Krishna says, Devaki Nandana Krishna Gita Patina Tushyati Yata na Vede Danina Yakna Tirtha Vrtadivi. That means he says the son of Devaki, the supreme personality of God, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, all right? Because when you look at the Vedas, it's vast and it's not possible by a human effort, okay? So, cannot be satisfied by any study of the Vedas or performing big time charity, do a lot of sacrifice, or even go for pilgrimage, even taking vows, as much as is satisfied by devotional recitation of Gita. When we recite Bhagavad Gita with so much of devotion, you simply pleases him. As we have studied in our chapter 12, the Gita Mahatmya, Krishna says, I am the boat. I live in Gita, right? So it's very, very auspicious. So Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. All right, let's take darshan from Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patakami, Bhavatumi. So today we dedicate this program to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this program is inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, GBC, and also Spiritual Master. And I dedicate this program to His Grace Anadi Jagannath Prabhu of Bangalore, ISKCON, Sheshadipuram, created the brainchild of the essence of Gita Gyan program worldwide. So let's look at the Mahatmya for today. Gitayaschana Janati, Patanam Naiva Patanam, Na Sa Eva Manushe Loke, Moga Karma Karo Bhavet. A person who knows nothing about learning and teaching the Gita is a failure in the duty of human form of life. So in this Sri Vaishnava Tantra Sara verse 13 says, Krishna says, a person who knows nothing about Gita. Okay, we don't, not worry about learning and teaching, but a person who knows nothing about Gita. There's so many people out there, they just doesn't know what is Gita is all about. So he is considered a failure in the duty of human form of life. So every human form of life, it is mandatory for them to study and understand Gita. And if they don't, it's considered they are failed in the human form of life. So what is the disadvantage of failing in the human form of life? Krishna will just take away that opportunity, the sixth sense, and will throw us back into the five senses. That means the four-legged or two-legged animal, or even plant kingdom and everything. So we fall down again back to our material existence because we have failed to do so. And just imagine that how fortunate are you here that you have taken so much of effort, so much of enthusiasm to study Bhagavad Gita. It is not an ordinary stuff. Okay. Sometimes we may say, sometimes people feel, hey, why are you so, what they call? Exaggerating. Oh, Bhagavad Gita is this, we don't want to sound like any other Abrahamic religion, You come to this religion, you definitely go to heaven and say, but this is all we are talking about the evidence from the Shastras, right? The evidence of Shastra says if you don't know anything about Gita, you have failed as a human being. The person is not as they are two-legged animal. Even if they are living in a human form of life, they are talking and acting and everything, acting exactly like a human, but they are just an animal. But now, if a person who knows about Gita, who take effort, enthusiasm to study Gita, that means you are performing the real duty of human form of life. So Krishna will remember this, and Krishna will definitely guide you back home, back to Godhead, as he promised in 10:11. I will light the lamp in your heart, and through that lamp, the darkness of ignorance will dissipate. So it is not our effort. Our effort is just to be enthusiastic in studying the Gita. But Krishna will play his part. And how he's doing is very mysterious. And you can feel it. See, every one of us are unique human being, right? We got a unique thumbprint, we got a unique face, the way that we look, even the voice, everything's unique, never existed before and will never exist in the future. So therefore, similarly, we are all individual spirit soul. We are individual here. And even we go back home, back to Godhead, we still remain as an individual person in that situation. So that means Krishna has his personal relationship with you, or authentic relationship with you, right? Authentic. We don't say that, oh, it is just like a random thing. Krishna says, oh, all of you, my devotees, welcome. Not that. He has a personal relationship with you. All right. And to revive that, as we have studied before, is called Swarupa. What is your personal relationship with the Lord? Okay. So Krishna will come and personally will guide you through. So we are just giving you the overview. But after that, Krishna will do his part. Okay. With that meditation, let's start chapter 13. a beautiful chapter. We're going to speak about the nature, the enjoyer, and also the consciousness. Okay, so we have said that in this chapter here. Okay, first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita is what we understand in the first 6 chapter. First 6 chapter, right? Sorry, first 6 chapter. What we have understood? We understood the knower of the body, that's a living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that means in first 6 chapter, what we have studied that. First, we studied about the knower of the body. Okay, who knows your body better? You yourself, right? The knower of the body, the living entity. Okay, at the same time, we also understood the position. What is that position? That we can understand the Supreme Lord. So understanding the Lord was the first 6 chapter. Okay, and in the middle 6 chapter, okay, in the middle 6 chapter, that means from 7 to 12, what we have understood, we have understood the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul. Right? We understood what is my relationship between the individual person and also the Supreme Lord. Okay, in regard to devotional service is described. So how we can create our relationship, we can revive our relationship. All right. So we understood that through the process of devotional service. Okay, the superior position of the Lord, the Supreme Godhead, and the subordinate position individuals are defined. Okay, that means the superior position of Krishna and the subordinate position of an individual soul is definitely defined in these chapters. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances. We are subordinate in all circumstances. But in their forgetfulness, they are suffering. Correct? We are all subordinate. But when we try to be a hero, when we try to be the controller, that's when we suffer. Huh? We start to take ownership. Taking ownership. This is my family. This is my house. This is my child. This is my business. When we start to take ownership, that's when we suffer the consequences. Okay, so everything belongs to God, right? In Isha Upanishad, mantra 1, Isha Vasha Idam Sarva, right? He says, Isha Vasha, that means everything that animate and inanimate belongs to the Lord. And we are given things according to our quota. And we only should accept things according to our quota. But when we endeavor more than that, that's when the suffering will start. All right. So that is when we suffer, when we forget our constitutional position. Okay, it reminds me about a story. My wife's friend, she's a daughter of a very famous doctor in Ipoh, and the father have a very successful practice, and she's extremely rich. All right, actually she only got one sibling, right? And the father had property and everything. When they were young, when they got their salary, when they first started to earn money, for the first 1 year, they have to give the salary to the father. They can't even enjoy a single cent from that. So what the father will do, will take all the money and invest in stocks and everything. So after 1 year, after that, after 10 years later, they make millions. Like that, they have so many properties. But yet, she and the husband went to Australia to migrate to Australia to give a good education for the children and so and so. And she's a pharmacist by profession. But when she has gone to Australia, the husband, who is also from a very wealthy family, he became a train conductor, a train inspector. And she became a pastry chef. She make pastry. She can't even practice a pharmaceutical science in Australia. And they are suffering terribly. And eventually they bought a house worth more than $1 million Aussie dollar to give the best education, but they are working so hard that like a recent Chinese New Year, when they were here down in Malaysia, they came and visited us. And I saw her, she looked so haggard. I asked, why are you so haggard? And they said, oh, you don't understand the life in Australia. We have to work at slog. But what happened? She is supposed to be a very wealthy person. But yet, she go to Australia and feels like starting all over again. So that is the thing. So in forgetfulness, she forget her position. She go there and work like in other words, work like an ass, like a donkey, right? So like that. So in all the forgetfulness, we are suffering. When enlightened, okay, but due to some good fortune, we become enlightened by pious activities. They approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities. So when we are enlightened by pious activity, we approach the Lord in different ways. Number one, if we are distressed. So if you think you are distressed and you approach God, that means you are blessed. Your distress is a blissful distress. And secondly, if those who want money, right, no harm. Like everybody going to Tirupati temple in Venkatachalapati for what? Is it for devotion? No, for money. They go there, they put the thing and they pray, please, my Lord, give me more and more money. Or at least they go to Krishna. That's good. And another one is the inquisitive. They got a lot of questions to ask. Right? Like yesterday, my cousins from Australia came to visit us. They married to of course, my aunt is Irish. And of course, my cousins all look white. And their husband, one is a Danish New Zealander, and another fellow is a Scottish New Zealander. All right. So, and they came and saw the altar, and they couldn't like stop, and they start to ask question. What is it? Why the Lord looks so different? No, I have Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And I took this opportunity and described, and I was so worried what they're going to see when they look at that, look at my deities. Now, I say, you're worshipping some kind of doll. Hey, what doll is that? But to my amazement, see how Krishna plays. They just looked at it and they were so attracted. I tried to think, okay, I am a person who are not a devotee. Suddenly I look at the doll, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. It looked like a toy. But my Jagannath really reciprocate to them. And they say, I have already closed the altar. If you don't mind, can you just open back? I want to ask you some question. Inquisitive. And because of that inquisitiveness, they have both of them accepted a Bhagavad Gita from me. Of course, last time when they got married, I gave them like a dowry. I know my cousin sister. I gave them a Srimad Bhagavatam, right? But that book is laying in their house. But they say, oh, I never knew that book is such and such. Then I gave them a Bhagavad Gita. Start from this. So the inquisitiveness is very important. We have to be inquiring. Why? When a person start to ask question, that's when the person start to improve his life, even in a material life, right? We need to ask question. We cannot be blindly following things. And that question is inquisitive. Inquisitive and questioning is two different things. Inquisitive means, that means I ask a question in order to learn something. If I am questioning means, I am asking a question for challenging you. Why? Why this? Why that? No, it's challenging. But inquisitive means, that means a kind of inquiry that create in your heart. All right. When I was talking to the person, he was thinking, oh, okay. They say, but why the God comes in the form of these? Then I said, Krishna, the Supreme Personality, can take any form as he like. Just like the king can come in a garb of a beggar. He can come in the garb of a mercantile businessman. He can take any form as he like. Because he's the king, he can take any form, he can come. But a beggar can never be the king. The beggar can never go into the garb of a king. And he said, wow, that makes sense. He said, that really makes sense. I said, God is omnipotent. Omnipotent means he got so much of potential. He can come in any form. Why is that we are so stereotyped that he has to only come in this one particular form? That is intelligence. And that is science. Said, wow. I was thinking they were making fun of me, but they were really inquisitive. That is very good. So I'm just hoping that one day they'll become a devotee in New Zealand, right? They're in Wellington. Okay, anyway. And of course, the next one is those in search of knowledge. All right. Like I was in search of knowledge because I was totally against my grandparents and my parents who are giving me something, who are telling me something that doesn't make sense, right? So there's search of knowledge. I want to get more knowledge. What is happening here? So these are the 4 people who are so blessed that they can come to Krishna. Okay. Now what happened? From the 13th chapter, what to expect? All right. So from the 13th chapter onwards, okay, now we are going to say how the living entities come into contact with material nature. This is what we're going to get to know now. How did we come in contact with this thing? How we came here. And secondly is how he can be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right. Through how? Through different method of fruitive activity, cultivation of knowledge, and discharge of devotional service is explained. All right. And how through the different types of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and discharge of devotional service will be explained from chapter 13 till chapter 18. All right. So I hope you all get some clear idea. Okay. With that, let's start our program. So let's look at 13.1. In 13.1, Arjuna start asking a question after listening to devotional service and after all that detailed explanation. Now he's asking a question. Arjuna Vacha prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetranyan evacha etat veditum ichchami jnanam jneyam cha keshava. Okay, let's look at this verse here. So if you have any question, please stop me and ask. All right, it's going to be a very interesting topic. So now Arjuna is asking, all right. So prakriti. So now the first word that we have seen here, prakriti. Prakriti means what? Prakriti. And can anyone recall what is prakriti? Anyone remembers prakriti? No one? Okay. Prakriti means nature. Okay. Prakriti is nature. Okay. Purusham. Can anyone tell me what is Purusham? No one? Purusham means enjoyer. Okay. Purusham enjoyer. Then you talk about Kshetra. Kshetra means the field or the place. Okay. And Kshetra Jnana. So Kshetra, field, Jnana. Jnana means knowledge. Jnanam. Okay. Kshetra Jnana. So knowledge of the field. Okay. Then after that, we also say the Etat. All right. Etat Veditum. Veditum. That means Veditum means to understand. Ichchami, I wish. That means he wants to understand this thing. Right? Then after that, what you want to understand? Jnanam, knowledge, and Jneyam. Jnanam and Jneyam. So Jnanam means knowledge. Jneyam means object of the knowledge. You all get it? So Jnanam, that means, for instance, I want to learn something. And what is that object of my learning? Okay, I want to learn how to use the computer. So I want to learn. And what is the object? The computer is the object. So I want to learn. So that means the knowledge has to have this thing. This is like the eyes, the sense, and the sense object. So the knowledge and the object of the knowledge. So jnanam jneyam cha keshava. So now Arjuna says, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, and also Purusha, the enjoyer. Then the field and the knower of the field, and the knowledge and the object of the knowledge. All right. So now what he wants to know, first of all, first thing he wants to know about this, he wants to know about Prakriti. Prakriti is the nature. Then secondly, he wants to know the Purusha, the enjoyer, who enjoys all this. And of course, he wants to know the field. And after that, the knower of the field. Okay. And knowledge and the object of the knowledge. So what he wants to know, he's asking a question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he wants to know the 6 subject matter here. Okay. All right. So now 12.3. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha Idang Shariram Kaunteya Kshetrang Itya Vidiyate Etatyo Vititang Prahu Kshetranya Iti Tatvida Kshetranyam Chapi Mang Viddi Sarva Kshetre Tu Bharata Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam Yatta Jnanam Matang Mama. So now Krishna is asking, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the body. Okay. Idam Sariram. Idam Sariram means what? Idam Sariram means, all right, Idam. Idam means this. Sariram means what? Body. You know, we also say in Tamil, right, Sariram. Shariram. Shariram means body. All right. Then he said, Kshetram iti abhidyate. Kshetra means the field, and abhidyate means is called. Okay. Etatyo vetitam prahu kshetranya iti tat vidaha. So, veti, okay, tam kshetranya, the knower of the field. Okay. Then, after that, kshetranyam chapi mam viddi. Okay. So, kshetranyan means the knower of the field. Then, mam viddi. Viddi means know. Okay, let me see whether any words. Okay. Now, let's look at the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the body or son of Kunti is called the field. Okay. I want all of you to follow me very closely. So, the body is called the field. You got it? If you all get it, you can put a thumbs up or just say yes. Oh, okay, there's a question here. Enjoy. Oh, yes. Yes, correct. Enjoy. All right. Now, this is the body. Okay. So, this is the body. Okay, all this material body. Okay, and what we call this body, we call this as the LT. We called it as the field. Okay, you got it? So the body, we call it as the field. Okay, so you say the body, this body is called the field. Okay, and the one who knows this body, the one who knows this body is called knower of the field. Who knows the body? All right, who knows the body? The one who knows the body, one who knows the body is the person. All right, the one who knows this body is the person. You all understand what I'm saying? Okay, I hope you all understand what I'm talking about. Just say yes. Just unmute yourself, say yes, then I can understand, because I can't see anybody here. Right? Right, great. Very good. Very good. So now we understand. So first, the body is the field. The field is called the body. Oh, sorry. Oh, battery. Okay. First, the body is the field. And the knower of the body is the knower of the field. All right. Now you have your body. That is the field. And you know your body better than anyone else. And you are the knower of the field. So far, so good? Okay. Now, let's look at this one. So, after that, Krishna says, what Krishna says here, he says, "Oh, sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all body." Okay. I am also the knower of all body. What does that mean? So that means Krishna, he knows all the body. Okay. He knows every body. Everything that exists around, he knows. Okay. So that means I only know my body. You know your body, but Krishna know all of our body. Okay. And then Krishna said, very interesting, he said, but that I am also the knower of all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So Kshetra means body. Kshetrajnayur, the knower of the body, is called Jnanam. All right, Jnana means what? That is called knowledge. All right, so how to understand this? Very simple. So that means first we understand that we are knower of our body. All right, and everybody, we know each of our body individually, but Krishna knows all the body. So when Krishna knows all the body, this is called the knowledge. Okay, so just an example, a very easy example. We talk about tenants and the landlord. Okay, tenants and the landlord. That means I own a row of houses here. I only know, so I got row of houses, and now Kesavan is renting my first house. Saras Mataji is renting my second house. Krishna Rubini is renting my third house, and Vivan is renting my fourth house, and all this. So Krishna Rubini only knows her house. Kesavan only knows his house. Saras Mataji only know her house, and Vivan knows only his house, the individual houses. But I, as the landlord, I know all these houses. So far, so good. All right. So I hope you understand. Okay. Or another example, the king, the farmer only knows his land, but the king knows all the land. All right. Now let's look at this. Okay. Now let's look at this. This is going to be very interesting. Okay. The five great element. Okay. The five great element, which is false ego. I hope you all remember this. If you don't remember, you can tell me. The five great element. Okay, what is the name of the five great element? Can anyone tell me? You all remember? Okay, I'll give you the first word. Maha what?
Mahabhuta. Mahabhuta.
Very good. Fantastic. Who answered that?
I, sir.
Oh, Krishna Rubini and And I heard some man's voice also.
Even, Prabhu.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Mahabhuta, right? The five great element. Okay, we understand the five great element. Okay, then the second element is called false ego, intelligence, and the unmanifested. Okay, okay. What is that five great element is made of? Is made of? It is the, what body is this? Gross body. False ego, intelligence, and unmanifested in subtle form. Okay, and in this body we have 10 senses and the mind, and we have 5 sense object, okay, that create desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, all right, that means the differences, the life symptoms. Okay, the life symptom means the soul is there, and the conviction. What is the conviction? Your belief system. All these considered in summary to be, all these considered the field of activities, and it is interaction. That means this is the field of activity and the interaction. What does that mean? So that means all these are in that body, the field. That means in Kshetra. Kshetra, you have all these things, okay? Now let's look at this. Okay, number one, the 5 great elements. The body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are the 5 great elements, or we call it as Mahabhuta. Okay. Now, then secondly, we have 5 knowledge acquiring senses. We acquire knowledge from these 5 senses. That is eyes, by seeing, ears, by hearing, nose, by smelling, tongue, by tasting, skin, by touching. So we acquire knowledge. So suddenly we know, how do we know that something that blazing, a kind of light that is blazing in front, it's hot. How we know? How we know fire is hot? Because once upon a time we have touched it. We have touched the fire and we burnt our finger. So we acquired the knowledge through the touch. How do we know that what do you call, the sugar is sweet? How we know? Because we have tasted it. We got that experience. And how we know there's a smell of a gas, right? When the gas leaking, hey, gas leaking, how we know? Because we have experienced smelling it. And yes, sometimes when we talk, okay, well, how we know? Because we have experienced listening to it. And eyes, sometimes we see things, all right, we know things. So we acquire knowledge from these 5 elements. Then we have another thing called the 5 working senses. The 5 working, that means we used to have these 5 senses to work. What is that? Voice. See, I'm talking to you, because I'm working, right? The voice is working. The legs, hands, anus, and genitals. So voice we are using to speak, right? The legs and hands, of course, to walk and to hold things. Anus is to discharge all that unwanted impurity or from the body, and genitals are meant for creating progeny, to create the next distinct, to create children, all right? So this is all called the 5 working senses. Then 5 sense object. What is a sense object? That means the form, okay, the sound, the smell, the taste, the touch. All these things are sense object. And of course, we had a subtle body, which is made from the mind, intelligence, and false ego. All right. So mind, intelligence, and false ego means what? That means the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego, the false identification. All right. I think we have discussed this before. I've already drawn the photo and show it to you, right? And there's also unmanifested form. The unmanifested called pradhana. That means the 3 modes of material nature is inbuilt in you. So that means the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance is inbuilt in you. Right? Inbuilt means what? It's unmanifested. So when you don't have, when you only use it when you need it. Example, when you go to temple, you just manifest the mode of goodness. Right? Then after that, you go to this, then after you go to temple, then you want to go for cinema. Right? After the movie, let's go for a movie Sunday. You know, after the Sunday feast, we had a good meal. Let's go for a movie. And that you then from the mode of goodness, you are manifesting mode of passion. Right? Then after that at night, okay, we are done. Let's go for nasi kanda. A crude example, huh? Right? Let's go for nasi kanda. That's when you are going for a mode of ignorance, because nasi kanda is all rubbish. Right? So this thing. So that means all these 3 mode is there inbuilt, but we only manifest when it's required. So this is all called the, what they call, the summary, they call field of activities and its interaction. Okay, it is interaction. Okay, any question? You all understand this? If it's okay, we can just put a thumbs up. I can continue. K7 is say okay. Others? Another one more person. Are you following me? You're not confused? Great. All right. Everybody's there. All right. Now, so now let's look at this field of activities. Okay. So 5 great elements. The Mahabhuta is called earth. The body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Is in 6, 7. And for knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Working senses, voice, legs, hands, anus, and genitals. And the sense object is eyes, form, sound, smell, taste, and tongue. Okay. And we have another thing called the subtle body. The subtle body is mind, intelligence, and ego. So as I said, when we kill our body, we are only killing our gross body. When we commit suicide, we're only killing the gross body. And also, there's a gross senses, right? But actually, the problem starts from here. Okay. And of course, this is the subtle body. And this subtle body is for what? The subtle body was created as a body that suits to live in this material world. Because this subtle form of the body could take any kind of gross body. So today I am in the body of a man. So next birth, if due to some my unfortunate situation, I'm born as a pig. So I am still in that subtle form. In that subtle form will take the form of a pig. Then after that, I'll take the form of a dog. Then after that, I take a form of an elephant. Then after that, I take a form of a king. So that means my gross bodies keep changing. All right. And to go into this kind of gross body, this gross element, which is made of all these Mahabhuta, the 5 great elements, and of course, with all these senses, in order to do that, I need to have this subtle body. And what is subtle body is made of? The mind, the intelligence, and also the false ego. The false ego means identifying ourselves. All right. Once I take a form of a pig, I'm so happy in that form. You know, I'm the most happiest pig in town. All right. When I come in the form of a man, I start to strongly believe I am a human being and I born into so and so family. I'm an Indian, I'm a Malaysian, I'm this, I'm that. All right. So once if I take the form of a snail and I start to believe, yes, I am the most beautiful snail. Look at my shell at the back and look at the way I crawl. So this kind of identification, it all comes in that false ego. Okay. So now let's look at the Kshetra. The Kshetra means the soul, subtle body, and the gross body. This is called Kshetra. All right. So first we have a body here. Okay. We have the body, then we have a subtle body, and we have the soul is inside there. So when we think about committing suicide, we are just simply destroying the gross body. But the real pain starts in the subtle body. That is mind, intelligent, false ego. That's where the real pain starts. All right. Now, when we leave the body, we give up the gross body. But once we go back home, back to Godhead, we also give up the subtle body because the subtle body doesn't suit to be in Goloka, Vrindavan, or Vaikuntha Loka. The subtle body is only meant to be around in this material world, not in that spiritual world. So when a person dies, right, he dies just by giving up the gross body and accept another gross body. The subtle body will keep following. But once we go back home, back to Godhead, we give up that subtle body. All right, we give up the subtle body. And what we do, we go in that pure form, the soul. The soul will take the form, the original body of yours, and you'll start to appear in the spiritual world as the associate of Krishna. Either you're going to be a Gopi, Gopal, or you're going to be Paraphernalia, you're going to be the flute, you're going to be the dress, whatever it is. In Goloka Vrindavan, you'll take your original constitutional position. Okay. Now, so in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 8 to 12. Okay. Now here Krishna explained about the 19 qualities. What is that 19 qualities? The catalyst of bhakti. Number 1, humility, pridelessness. That means first is humility, humble, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, which is very important. Cleanliness. Cleanliness month, we have to bathe at minimum 3 times a day, if possible. Or if can't, at least twice a day. You have to bathe after you cut your hair. You have to bathe after you pass motion. You have to bathe after even you cut your fingernails, right? So like that. So that's a cleanliness, standard cleanliness that we have to maintain. Steadiness, all right? We have to be very steady. Self-control, renunciation of the object, renouncing the object of the sense gratification, anything that the sense gratification, to renounce it. Absence of false ego, that means you're totally out of false ego. The perception of evil of birth and death, old age and disease, that means you start to understand, all right, the perception. Detachment, freedom from entanglement, that means you're free from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. What does it mean by freedom from entanglement? Entanglement with children, wife, home, and rest means, that means if you are, when we start to take the children and the wife as one of our materially connected people, that's when the suffering will start, right? Example, so now I have this gross body, and this gross body, I married a woman who's also the gross body, and through these two gross body combination, we start to create children, and this is my house, and this is my this and that, this and that. And that's when a person becomes entangled. We must understand that the person that we marry is actually a blessings of Krishna. It is not that you will just randomly a person comes and marry to you. We have to be very respectful to them, and we have to cultivate them on a spiritual basis. When we talk on a material basis, that means when we talk of from the gross body basis, of course, there will be so much of trouble, all right? Because that person, the wife or the husband, they also have that gross body, they also have that sense gratification, they have all this Mahabhuta and all this learning this thing, and in the subtle form, they also have that mind, intelligence, and the false ego. So when we try to do comparison, oh, my wife is this, my husband is that, that's when we are trying to identify them in the gross form. But we have to come out of it, and we have to look at them in a spiritual form of life, that person is a spirit soul, and Krishna have given that opportunity that I marry to this person, and through this person, I am trying to cultivate. Because if you're not going to speak about spiritual life to your spouse, you got nothing else in common to talk. You know, like for instance, I am a trainer and a businessman, and my wife is a pharmacist. What can I talk? What is something common that we can talk? She can come back and talk about some medicine and some, she's working in psychiatric hospital, some psychiatric issue. I will go and talk to her about some forex and some new strategy and everything. So we got nothing to talk. So when there's nothing else to talk, so sometimes when she start to talk something, when I start to comment on that, and she gets very angry. I mean, she'll ask, what is your position to talk about my profession? You don't know anything about pharmaceutical science. And if she come and tell me the way you trade is wrong, and I will ask, what is your position to come and advise me of how to trade and how to look at the market? We have nothing to do with you. So when there's nothing to do and this, so when we try to speak on whatever subject, that's when the clash will start. Right? So what we do in our house, we have something very common to talk. And what is that? We have the Jagannath at home, and that Jagannath is something commonality. All right, my daughter, my children, my son, and my wife, and everything, we have something very common. So we should put Krishna in middle, right? Because we should understand in our Vedic system, in our culture, there's no such thing as divorce. All right, divorce. There's no such thing as divorce. So when a person is planning a divorce, that means that person is considered very immature. Immature because they are still identifying themselves with a bodily concept. All right. So you may argue, yes, but you don't know that my spouse is such a crazy guy. You know, he tortures me. Is this? Yeah, whatever it is. But when you put Krishna in the middle, you start to see how the miracles start happening in your life. It's very important, right? For instance, when they talk about the family, right? When they talk about the Puruttam, especially in our Indian, our Hindu way of life, you see the Puruttam before we get married. You know, according to the Puruttam, my wife and I, no Puruttam at all, zero. Even the astrologer says that you can never get along. It will never happen because zero Puruttam. Out of 10, that's not even half, zero. You know, zero Puruttam. You can never get along. And some of the worst thing is you can't even have because there's no Yoni Puruttam. You can't even have a child. Right? But of course, it's been proposed because my father don't believe in all that. So you propose, then I just told my wife, look here, I always strongly and firmly believe in Krishna. And I think Krishna has sent you to me. And I think that you as my prasadam. Prasadam means it's your gift of Krishna to me. So as long as we can keep Krishna in the middle, we just can have Krishna in the middle. We just go on keeping Krishna in the middle. We could make it. Anyway, everything as per planned by Krishna. Right? So what we did, we also have so much of differences. In fact, sometimes I thought, hey, did that astrologer was right? I mean, she also thinks that astrologer was right. But always we we pull our link back to Krishna. Something in between. Because I used to tell, I used to tell the reason I got married because I want to bring Krishna conscious children to the world. And likewise, you also have to be that. She was not a vegetarian. I never forced her to become a vegetarian because I never forced anyone to become a vegetarian. And I just simply pray to Krishna, pray to Prabhupada, dear Prabhupada, please, if at all, if you please make my wife to practice bhakti. Vegetarianism is only a secondary. All right, being a vegetarian, being a non-vegetarian, doing all these kind of bad habits, alcohol, all is secondary. The primary is what? What is the core? The core is to practice bhakti. Once we practice bhakti, everything is liberated. All that things. So meanwhile, by the mercy of Krishna, everything has happened as per this thing. And my wife and I just celebrated our 19th year anniversary, the last December 11th. Married for 19th year, and we are blessed with 4 beautiful children. How the thing happened? I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm just giving an example, right? To create a harmony in the family life, very simple. Put Krishna in the middle. If you don't, that's when the word here is entanglement. If once you entangle with children and wife, you're going to slog rest of your life. The rest of your entire life, you'll be slogging and slogging. After they give birth, even the children, you're going to go and take care of your grandchildren. You're going to get entangled. All right. Then another thing is even-mindedness, a meet of pleasant and unpleasant even. Even there's something good or something distinct, you have to be even-minded. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. Okay. Aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, philosophical search of the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge. And beside this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So Krishna says, this is knowledge. And other than this is called ignorance. But the question is, how am I going to do it? Can I do this? I am just learning Bhagavad Gita. I think I have not even given up my desire for meat. How am I supposed to be non-violence? Because eating meat is violence. Right? The food that you eat is full of violence because the way that the animal got killed so miserably and they cook, and the food that we eat is violence. And now you're talking about non-violence. How can that be? Tolerance. I'm not prepared to tolerate things. Simplicity. Come on, I'm young. I'm just coming up in life. How am I supposed to live a simple life? I'm not an old man. Right? So all these things are big. So can we do it? So therefore, Krishna says in the next verse, if one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. Isn't that fantastic? It is not something, because when I was a businessman, when I was a young businessman in my late 20s and early 30s, when I see this, how can it be possible? You asked me to be simple. I was full of passion. I was thinking about expanding my business, buying new property, buying a big car. Because car was my crazy. I was so much in love with cars. I've been changing 20 over cars in my lifetime. Right? 20 plus cars. So I just used the car for 1-2 years, get a new one. Like that. Basically, I tried all cars. But now you're asking me to know, how can that be? I was wondering the same as what some of you might be wondering now. Is that possible? Yes. How? If one takes to devotional service to Krishna. In full Krishna consciousness. What is it by full Krishna consciousness? Very simple. Just study your Bhagavad Gita every day. You chant your Hare Krishna every day. You are considered to be in full devotional service. When you do that, all the 19 items automatically develop within you. So what is the advantage of all the 19 items develop in you? That's when you start to become a human being. That's when you start to show your original humanity, human form of life. Even though that you can be a teacher, you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, whatever business or job that you are involved, you will be very successful. You will be very successful in your family life. You'll be very successful in your mental health, and you'll be very successful in your career. You must understand, you should not waste your life just to concentrate in your career 100%, because you are working so hard for something which is perishable. You work so hard to buy a house, the house will eventually perish one day. You work so hard and get a car. You know, when I got my another car, which is called, the car that I regret buying was Volvo. Fantastic car, powerful. You know, I used to fly on the highway and all these things. And eventually the car disintegrate and break down. What happened? I worked so hard to own that car, and that car eventually perished. Right? Then I want to work so hard so I can have some nice suit, Louis Vuitton, or John Master, all the nice coat and suit, and the coupling, all is beautiful. But eventually, now what happened? All lying. I can't even wear it. I got an opportunity to wear that, and I've sacrificed my life for that. I don't know. So all these things. So many people make a huge mistake, dedicating so much of effort, day and night, working, neglecting the family, neglecting devotional service. And when these two get screwed up, your mental health will definitely get screwed up. And when the mental health gets screwed up, that's when a person goes into severe depression. And that's when the person will start to ask question, is it worth all my effort for my wife and children? Because end up they are not loving me. And that's the cause that a person actually eventually will commit suicide. It's very, very important. So you have to balance your life. And what is that thing that balance? All right. It is just like you're having a two, like the thing that, that balance up. So in order for these two to handstand, you need to have a pillar in between, right? You need to have a stick in between so that both can. So what is a stick? The stick is devotional service. When you got that stick in between, that's when you can balance up these two things. So once you start to practice Krishna's, you just chant Hare Krishna, you start to study the Bhagavad Gita very seriously, you will never believe how successful you're going to be in your life. Trust me, whatever goals that you have, you want to be a multi-millionaire, you want to have a property and everything, just focus your mind in devotional service. When your mind is in peace, that's when you can grasp all that opportunity that runs in front of you. When your mind is agitated, you can't even see what is in front of you, right? So the peace of mind is very important. So if one takes devotional, so chant Hare Krishna daily and read Bhagavad Gita daily, you start to see how successful your life, your family life will be successful, your mental health will be successful, your business career life will be successful, and your devotional life will be successful. That's what Krishna said. Do your job. If you're not going to do your job, you're going to stay away. You're a pretender, right? That's what Krishna says. Don't pretend. Be yourself. Dedicate whatever, give it to me. Dedicate to me. I'll look after it. And Krishna says, I will supply what you lack. And I provide, I'll protect what you have, and I supply what you lack. What else we need some more? Isn't that very assuring? It is very assuring. So Krishna, so what is the devotional service that we are talking about? So we can start. Of course, chanting and this thing, but of course, Krishna also gave the simplest way that you can serve him. And what is that? Krishna accepts leaf. You just offer some nice tulsi to him. Cultivate a tulsi plant in your house just to offer the leaf. Oh, I don't have a deity in my house. It's okay. Offer to Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. We have studied on text 12, chapter 12, right? The Mahatmya. Krishna says, I dwell in Bhagavad Gita. Where else are you going to look for him? You can't even look into your heart. Only the mystic yogi can do. After so many births of practice, only he can find the Paramatma in his heart. Not possible. We don't have the eyes to see, because Krishna says, what Arjuna says, even it is just like as though 1,000 suns rise at the same time. That is that effulgence that I'm seeing. We don't have the eyes to see even one sun. So we have so much of limited senses. We are so diseased. We are so problems. A little rain can cause us disease. Now it's a rainy season. A lot of people are falling into flu, pneumonia, and all kind of diseases are coming up. When I went to the hospital, when I got a chicken pox, they said the antiviral out of stock. Can you imagine? Because so many people are, it looks like what they call a chicken pox season. Right? So when we have all these kind of limited things, then how are we going to do it? So where are we going to look for Krishna? Our mind is agitated. We have so these things. Like yesterday, I was having a terrible headache. I can't even do the class. I was sleeping the whole day. I didn't even chant my rounds yesterday. So this kind of body, where am I going to look for Krishna? And Krishna says, I am living in this Bhagavad Gita. What else do you want further? Take the leaf and offer to the Bhagavad Gita. My dear Bhagavad Gita, my dear Krishna, please accept this leaf and bless me with ecstatic devotional service. Please impart the knowledge unto my heart. You go and get a flower, offer it to Bhagavad Gita. You go to the shopping center, you find some nice fruit, cut it nicely, put a tulsi and offer to Bhagavad Gita. Or you can cultivate some small, nice plants in your house. Some mango trees. If you have some mango trees, some rambutan trees, whatever. Right? But don't offer durian. There's one Chinese Mataji. She said, hey, Prabhu, you tahu ka? I said, yeah. Hari ni saya punya kebun durian sangat cantik. So, hari ni saya offer kasih Krishna makan durian. So innocent. I say, oh, yeah, ka. Okay. The next day I call Mataji. Durian tak boleh offer. You cannot offer durian to Krishna because it's so in ignorance. Anyway, and offer fruit. Oh, you can't even do that. Just offer a small glass of water. Dear Krishna, please accept this. This is what I can afford. And you have to do it with love. And Krishna says, he will accept it. Isn't that fantastic? In 13:15, Krishna says, very interesting verse. Sarvendriya. Sarva Indriya. Sarva Indriya means what? All kind of senses. Guna Basam. Guna means qualities. Abasam means original source. All right? Sarva. Sarva again, all. Indriya means sense. Vivarjitam. All right? Being without. Asaktam. Without attachment. Without attachment. Sarvabrik Chaiva. Sarvabrik, the maintainer of everything. Nirgunam. Nirguna means what? Without material qualities. Guna means Guna Bhaktir, master of the gunas. Guna means activity. Bhaktir means master of the activities. All right. So let's say Sarvendriya Gunabasam. Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. Asaktam Sarvabrik Chaiva. Nirgunam Guna Bhaktircha. The super soul is the original source of all senses. Who? The super soul. Who is the super soul? Can anyone tell me? Who is the super soul? Anyone? We have three types of Vishnu. Karna Dakshayi, Garbho Dakshayi, Shiro Dakshayi. So, Paramatma is which Vishnu? Remember? Krishna Rubini, you are so good in taking notes. What happened?
It's a long time already, sir.
Hey, what long time? Just 2 weeks ago only we discussed in Namahat. 2 or 3 weeks before.
Let me think first.
You okay. So that Paramatma is Shiro Dakshayi Vishnu. All right. First is Karna Dakshayi, that from his body bubble appears and he enters into every bubble as Garbho Dakshayi. And after he enters the bubble, from his navel, Brahma born. And from there, he expanded further as Shiro Dakshayi Vishnu. Shiro Dakshayi Vishnu has three activity. Number one, as the one that protects, that Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and that Vishnu that protects, all right, that maintains. And second activity is he entered into every atom. And the third thing, he entered into every body as Paramatma. Okay, Krishna Rubini? You got it?
Got
You
it,
remember?
sir, got it. Yeah.
Sure. Huh?
Sure.
So the super soul is the original source of all senses. That means from the super soul is all our senses are activated. All right. And yet he's without senses, even though he is the one, but he has no senses. He is unattached, although he's the maintainer of all living beings. He's transcend the mode of nature. At the same time, he's the master of all the modes of nature. What does that mean? All right. For instance, the super soul is the original of all senses, and yet he's without senses. He's unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature. At the same time, he's the master of all modes of material nature. Example, when you see a governor, say like what they call, what do you call Dato Banda in English? Governor, mayor. Okay, when you look at the mayor is in charge of the cleanliness of the city. So under his wing, there is one department that collects tools. All right, like India Water, they go and collect the stools. There's another department that collect rubbish. There's another department that maintains the road. There's another department maintains the beauty of the town by cutting the trees and cutting the grass. So the mayor is the head of all these departments. But he doesn't go and collect the stool. He doesn't go down and collect the rubbish. He doesn't go and cut the grass. You understand? So even though he is there, but he is unattached. He is the one. All right. Just the same example here. So super soul is the original of all senses, but he is without the sense. He is unattached, although he's the maintainer. Although he maintains everything, but he's not attached to any of these. So he transcends the mode of nature. That means he's beyond the three modes of material nature. At the same time, he's the master of the mode. So he's also the one that causes the mode of the nature. All right. Just like the sun is all pervasive. All right. The sun is all pervasive, but the sun is remain unattached. All right. Now the sun is rising here. It doesn't mean the sun is staying here. Although it's all pervasive, but the sun is remain unattached. 13:16. Bahir antascha bhutana acharang charam evacha sukshmatvat tat avijneyang durastang chantike chatat. The supreme truth exists outside and inside. So that means the supreme truth means what? The Paramatma. Inside as Paramatma, outside as the all, because he's everywhere, right? He exists because he enters into every atom. So he exists outside and inside of all living beings. I hope you all are following me on this. The moving and the non-moving, animate or inanimate. Okay, all the moving things and all the non-moving, like the mountain and everything is there. Because he is subtle. Subtle means what? He's so tiny, he's so subtle. He's beyond the power of material senses. So through our material senses, we cannot understand him. To see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Even though he's very, very far, at the same time, he is also very near. 17. Avibhaktam cha bhutesu vibhaktam eva chastitam bhuta bhatircha tatnyeyang grasishnu prabha vishnu cha. Although the super soul appear to be divided among all beings, right? I got my Atma with me, super soul with me. You got your Atma and super soul with you. All looks divided. He's never divided. Even though all look divided, but he's never divided. He's situated as one. Although he's maintainer of all every living entity, it is to be understood that he divorces and develops all. So even though he maintains everything, he destroys. Divorce means he's like swallow this thing. And at the same time, he also develops everything. In 18, Jyotisam apita jyotis tamasa parang uchyate jnanam nyayam jnanagamyam kirdi sarvasya vistitam. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. So all the thing that light, that bright, he is the source. He is beyond the darkness of matter. He is beyond. That means, as we have explained to you, remember, the planet, material world and the spiritual world, the spiritual full of darkness, is beyond that. Okay? And he's unmanifested. That means he's not born. He's knowledge. He's the object of the knowledge. He's the knowledge. And he's the object of the knowledge. And he's the goal of the knowledge. So what is the reason that we want to study Bhagavad Gita? So object is Krishna. Right? Then okay, first Krishna is knowledge. So I want to know Krishna. So the object of it is in Bhagavad Gita. And what is the reason we are studying that? We want to achieve the goal, to understand him. So the goal, Krishna is the goal of knowledge. You understand? He is situated in everyone's heart. At the same time, he is situated in everyone's heart. 19. Iti kshetram tata jnanam nyeyam choktam samasata matbhakta etat vinyaya matbhavayo papatyate. That's the field of activities. Now we have to understand the field of the body. You understand the knowledge and the noble have been summarily described by me. And after that, Krishna says again, what you have summarized, the field of activities, the body, right? How many sing? 5 Mahabhuta, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. 5 senses, 5 working senses. Then in a subtle body and pradhana, the 3 unmanifested that God of witnessing, all these made of this gross body and the subtle body. And that is the field of activities. And knowledge and the noble have been summarized. So the knowledge of it and what to be understood, noble, have been summarily. That means he just give a summary described by me. Here Krishna said describe, but after that he says something very interesting. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly. Only my devotees can understand thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Why? Why only devotees can understand this thoroughly? Because Krishna is enlightening you from the heart. You all understand? Because Krishna is. Because we can study, we can try to understand. We may not understand, but Krishna will reveal it. Okay, like for instance, now Krishna Rubini might be thinking, well, I have studied this and I have understood this, but now when I was asked, I don't remember it. Have you thought that, Krishna?
Yes, sir.
You thought you're thinking too loud. I heard you very clearly. So why is that so? All right. Actually, she knew. All right. This knowledge is not something that in a school subject you start to read about it and after that you start to memorize. No, she knew it. All of you knew this. All right. When the time comes, you will be surprised. You'll be amazed when you start to talk to somebody about this. You will just, the knowledge will start to come out from you. It's amazing. All right. Even like I'm attending my Siksha Guru. Also, my very dear friend, Pran Govinda Prabhu from America, every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, he's having a class. He go to the class, then after that, what is the takeaway? Please tell me what you have learned. And I couldn't answer, I was thinking, oh my God, what actually I learned? Because it's so mesmerizing. And I just like, what did I learn? What did I learn? What did I learn? Right? So the same thing happened to Krishna Rupini. And in fact, sometimes when I ask you the question, it happened that way. But after that, when you reflect, you will remember. So that's why he says, only my devotee. Because Krishna is enlightening you. If not, you won't be enthusiastically sitting here. Then 20. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikarangscha gunangscha vidhi prakriti sambhavan. So material nature and the living entities, okay, should be understood to be beginningless. Hey, how does that mean? Right? How we should understand the material nature and the living entities should be understood as beginningless, because material nature, of course, is beginningless because the matter is part of Krishna. Krishna's external energy. He was never created and never be destroyed because that is his energy. And the living entities, we as Atma, we as Jivatma, we are living forever, right? Should be understood to be beginningless. Now you understand? They are transformation. And the modes of matter are product of material nature. The transformation. That means the earth has been created, and from the earth, now suddenly we just destroy the earth, we destroy the mountain, and we start to build houses. It's transforming, right? And a man who was suddenly become so envious, and the man from a human being, he's born as a snake, and after that he loved to eat everything that flies, everything that swims, everything that runs, and everything. So he'll become a tiger or lion, and the flow eats everything available around the world. He go and eat. He'll take the form of a pig. So like that, he's transforming. All right. So that means we understand the material nature and the living entities both are eternal, but their transformation, why they are changing, is because of the mode of matter, a product of material nature. I hope you all understand this. If you understand, please put a thumbs up. If you don't understand, put a thumbs down. Are you following me? Am I too fast? Understood. Very good. All right. Okay, now, so Krishna is the external energy, is the material nature. The marginal energy is the living entity. And the personal expansion of Krishna is the super soul. All right. 21. Karya karana katritve hetu prakriti uchyate purusha sukha dukhanam okritve hetu uchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material cause and effect. Who? The nature is said to be the cause of all causes and effect. Whereas the living entity is the cause of various suffering. So the nature, sometimes you see a drought, sometimes you see a windy. Now we are experiencing rainy season. Suddenly the rain comes so hard and it starts flooding. So that's the cause of the nature. All right. But the living entity is the one that causing various suffering. So we are creating that suffering. I'm not happy with my spouse. I'm not happy with my life. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with my work. I'm not happy with this. They who create? We are creating ourselves. Okay. Various suffering and enjoyment in this world. The suffer and enjoy is all creation by the living entity. Then transmigration living entity, Purusha Prakriti Stohi, Bhumte Prakriti Jan Gunan, Karanang Guna Sangoshya, Sat Asat, Yoni Janmasu. The living entity in this material nature thus follow the ways of life. That means they follow the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. Thus, due to his association with that material nature, when we start associating with the material nature, there's a mix with good and evil among various species. So that means when I'm so attached to my particular job, I'm so attached and I die thinking about the job, I will definitely take the form into that kind of species. All right, due to the association of the material nature or environment, say like for instance, I'm such a great patriotic, I want Malaysia, pom, I die. Next birth, I'll born in Malaysia, maybe as a dog, as a pig or whatever. All right, so the example. So the living entity just follow the way of life. How? The way that you create your life. And through that, they enjoy the three modes of material nature. That means either you're in goodness, passion, or ignorance. All right. And of course, because of this association in that nature, he takes the birth accordingly. That means sometimes he meet among the various species. Right. Sometimes he bends, sometimes he can fall. He just keep transmigrating. Right. Example, I like swimming so much and I'm so attached to swimming. I live and sleep beside the swimming pool. Next body, I'll get a form of a fish. I love to sleep and go on sleeping and sleeping. I'll take a form of a polar bear who love to sleep. The next body is decided based on your current birth desire. So the living entity is forced to behave according to the body given by material nature. So once I given up this gross body, I have the subtle body enters into the form of a dog. I will have a different kind of teeth. I got a very strong nose. I got a protruding ears. My eyes like this. I'll be running on a foreleg, and I got a tail, and I got a long tongue. And how I speak? By barking. Right? I take that. So the mind, the false identity, the false ego will start to see, hey, I am a dog. So it'll take into that form. And if I given up that, then I go into take the form of a pig. So what I will do, I'll still have a protruding ears. I got a 4 tiny legs, and I'll be very fat. And you see on the face, I'll be enjoying stool. And I feel when I look at the stool, I see yummy ice cream, hot cream. No? So like that. So we behave, the living forced to behave according to the body given by the material nature. Right? This is the story of Indra. Once Indra was chased by some demon. So he was looking for a place to hide. So the best place he thought to hide is it's born in take the form of a pig. Right? Because he said nobody will come and look in the pig bun. So he went and born in the pig body. And through the pig body, he started to have so many piglets and he's enjoying his life. Then after all the problems settled, all the devas are looking for Indra, was wondering where's Indra. And they discovered Indra in the form of a pig. And he came and told Indra, hey Indra, come out from the form of a pig. Come and take back your heavenly kingdom. Take the throne back, everything is settled. And what Indra says, no, I'm very happy in the form of a pig. You look at all my beautiful piglets and see all the stools that I'm eating. I'm enjoying my life. I don't want to give up. Even when the Indra took the form of a pig, he doesn't want to give up that form of a pig. Can you imagine? This is all in the story from story of Srimad Bhagavatam. But of course, eventually he started to realize, oh, I'm in the abominable. That's when he gave up the form and went back to heaven. All right, 23. Upadrastanumantacha partapokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti achapyukta dehismin purusha para. Yet in this body, there's a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor who exists in the overseer and permitter and who is known as the super soul. That means in this body, there's another person, transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord. Okay, he is the supreme proprietor. He owns everything, who exists as the overseer and permitter. So that means, see, whatever things that you desire, where you get the desire from, he approves the desire. You want to eat meat, you want to enjoy life, whatever things you want to drink, beer, alcohol, whatever, who approves it? The super soul, that Paramatma in the heart approves, because he's the overseer and also the permitter. Right? But it's just like analogy, I just give you like two birds, two parrot. One parrot is enjoying the fruit, another parrot is watching. And this parrot is wondering, when are you going to turn back? When are you going to look at me? Right? So the same thing, see, whatever sense enjoyment that you want to enjoy, The one who approves it is Paramatma. Of course, then you suffer the consequences. Okay. So now let's look at the prayers of the fetus in the womb, Jantu prayers. And for that, I need to stop the video and I'm going to play a video. I just pause the video. So I want all of you to put the sound loud, and I just want to look at it.
Sir, can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I muted myself. How's the video? So now I managed to found it in Tamil. More impact, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue. So this is the prayer of Jantu. Okay. So the prayer of the Jantu womb, fetus in the womb. Okay, Jantu prayers. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 3, Canto 3, chapter 31. Imagine 5,000 years ago, when Srimad Bhagavatam was written, it was so nicely explained. All right, what is this prayer and how that form will take form, you know, and imagine how advanced, okay, in our Vedic literature. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 31. Beaten again and again all over the body by the hungry worms in the abdomen itself, the child suffers terrible agony because of his tenderness. He thus becomes unconscious moment after moment because of this terrible condition. The child thus remains just like a bird in a cage without freedom of movement. At that time, if the child is fortunate, he can remember all the troubles of his past 100 birth, and he grieves wretchedly. What is the possibility of peace, of happiness, of mind in this condition? The human soul says, I take shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all fear. From him, I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activity. Right? So now, so the questions that Krishna answered, Arjuna asked these 6 questions. First is, what is Prakriti? Answer is material nature. What is Purusha? The enjoyer. Kshetra means body. Kshetranya, the soul and the super soul. Jnanam, knowledge, which is understanding the Kshetra and Kshetra. Understanding these two is knowledge. Jnayam, object of the knowledge is the soul and the super soul. So 26, Anye tvevam ajananta. Trutvantyevya upasate. Tepi chatitarantyeva mrityung shruti parayanha. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, okay, but those who are still not conversant, not so good in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him. Upon hearing about him from others, they start to pray because of their tendency to hear from authorities. They also transcend in the path of birth and death, right? So they also can transcend it, they can come out. That means how? Even you're not so good in your spiritual life, just by listening, right? Coming for the class, listening to sing, you also can get the taste. All right. So 34, Yata Prakasatyeka Krishnam Lokam Imang Ravihi, Kshetram Kshetri Tata Krishnam Prakasashayate Bharata. O son of Bharata, the sun alone illuminates all the universe. So does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Just like the sun illuminates the entire universe, the Atma that lives in your body illuminates the entire body. Okay. So the consciousness of one particular body does not share that of another body. But the super soul, which is situated in all body, is conscious of all bodies. Okay, you all understand? That means what I have in my consciousness, I cannot share it with you. But Krishna, he knows your body and every body. So 1335, Sheta Shetra Nyayor Evam Antaram Jnana Chakshusha Bhuta Prakriti Moksham Cha Ye Vidu Yanti Te Param. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the know of the body can also understand the process of liberation from bondage of material nature attained to the Supreme Good. Again, those who see with the eyes of knowledge, that means now you all got knowledge, right? Now you can see the difference between the body and the know of the body. You can see the difference. That means I know of the body. That means I'm the spirit soul, but the body is material. Okay. And also can understand the process of liberation. So now we understand how we can liberate ourselves. All right. From where? From the bondage in material nature. Because the material nature is so bonding. All right. So by that, he attains the supreme goal. Right. So the best way to achieve this, it is by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So Krishna Namastakam, verse 6, it says, okay, what it says? Oh, holy name, Jaya Vachyam Vachakam Iti Udeti, Bhavato Nama Swarupa Dvayam, Purvasmat Param Eva Hanta, Karunam Tatrapi Janimahe, Yastasmin Vihita Parada Nivaha, Prani Samantat Bhavet, Ashyenedam Upasyaso Pihi Sadanandam Udav Majjati. So it's praying to the holy name. Oh, holy name, you are manifest in two forms. That means it says here, you manifest in two forms. Okay, what is the first form? The supreme person described by the holy name. That is, say we are chanting Hare Krishna Rama. Hare is internal potency of Krishna. Krishna is the most attractive one. Rama means the reservoir of pleasure. Okay, so that's what the first form that described by the name. Second is the sound vibration. The sound vibration of the holy name. That means Hare, Krishna, and Rama. That means when I say Hare is vibrating, Krishna is vibrating, Rama is vibrating. So there's a second. There's only two things. All right. So now, what it's mentioned here is very interesting. It says, we know that the second form is even more merciful. The second form, which is the vibration is more merciful than the first. What is the first? The person. Rama, Krishna, Hare, the person. And second is the vibration of that person. So he says, the second form, the vibration is more merciful. The more merciful than the form. Because although a person may commit many offenses at your first form, a person can commit many offenses, you know. Oh, I don't believe in Krishna. What? Krishna is a funny thing. They start to call Krishna by name, I know this and that. So they can offend Krishna in many ways. But he will still plunge into the ocean of bliss. How? By serving your second with his voice. So that means, in other words, I start to say, oh, this Hare Krishna flows are crazy flows, Hare Krishna. No. So what does it mean? So I am criticizing Lord Krishna and the Hare Krishna movement. But in order to criticize the form, the Krishna and the movement, but how I use it, I use the word Hare Krishna. So even though I am criticizing or I am offending the first form, but the second form, the vibration by saying Hare Krishna Rama, it will plunge you. It will purify you by simply uttering the word. That is why the chanting of the holy name is more powerful than worshipping any other form of the deities and all this. So simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you achieve the highest perfection. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So take the commitment, RDC formula. So read Bhagavad Gita daily. It's very important. Distribute Bhagavad Gita. It is also important because when you distribute Bhagavad Gita, you get a lot of gains. And of course, the last one, chant Hare Krishna. Chant 16 rounds daily. You start to see a huge transformation happening in your life. Right? So with that, we end the session. So now we open for questions. Is there any questions or any comment? So you all understand what I've said? This chapter 13, that's why I'm saying it's such a beautiful chapter. So nectarian. All okay? Right. So tonight we meet again at 7:30. We discuss on chapter 14. Okay, chapter 14. Chapter 14, the title is the material modes of the three modes of material nature, the pradhana, the unmanifested form. What is the three mode of material nature? Mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. We will be dwelling in the nectarian topic tonight at 7:30. Right? I think 7:30 should be fine. So with that, thank you so much for your wonderful association and your enthusiasm. I'm so enthusiastic. Now I start to have the pain start rising. But anyway, I feel so blissful discussing this chapter 13, and I hope all of you have also understood at least one thing. Okay. So when there's no questions or no comment, we can end the session here. No question? No comment? You all understand? My pleasure. Krishna Rupini. Right, there's no question. So we end the session. Vanchakal patrubhascha kripa sindhubhyevacha paditanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Have a beautiful day. We meet again tonight to discuss on chapter 14. Hare Krishna. Go Ranga.